This is another Poet Award General Report. And here's your General, Joshua David Ling.
Good luck.
Hey everybody, back again with another General's Report. I am recording this one on Monday the 11th, 7/11 of July 2022. So yeah, we don't have that store around here, but maybe I should go to Circle K. Who knows? Anyway, so I've been promising for several General's Reports now a kind of story breakdown of the story of my wedding with my wife Casey. There's some cool stuff involved there, and I wanted to get into it. I told a little bit of it last time, and if you haven't heard like how we met and up to the point I last left off, check out the episode called Moana and Moving Out. And that one actually kind of brings us up to speed to where I'm going to start today, and then continue into the story of how we got married and basically through our reception situation. So, yeah, it's a very interesting story, and I wanted to bring it up because I think there's a lot of stuff in it that can help encourage people in just sheer perseverance, especially in regard to their own life and trying to find somebody. And so I'm gonna start where we left off. I was working a non-emergency medical transport job, and it was okay at the time. It was very, very busy and very random hours. Had to do a lot of stuff that was just right off the bat, just really crazy. Covering distances fairly quickly, and just a lot of. I loved the people that I drove around. I really did. But it was hard work, and it was very bad for my body in a lot of ways, sitting and then moving really fast and then sitting for long periods, and it was very odd. And then of course going for long periods without food, extra long periods at times. It was very, very not great. But I persevered through that, and one of the things that my parents had asked for to get their blessing on our marriage was that we had a certain amount of money saved up before we actually got married, and that we went through counseling with our pastor, which we were going to do anyway. So we did go through counseling, and my pastor helped smooth some things out from me moving out and that whole situation, and it was really good that he did that. And that's one thing I want to mention to anyone who has issues with parents and a person who you want to marry. Get a pastor involved, because they have a pretty objective, not neutral, but objective view of the whole entire situation. They've dealt with many different people. They've dealt with families getting together, and it's just really good metaphorical grease for the gears. And my pastor Mark was a big part of that. So it took about a year for us to save up, and once we saved up, the day we actually found out we had that money, Casey was helping me with my finances as far as like managing them and everything, because she wanted to get married too. And she told me what we had, and I was like, Casey, want to get married tomorrow? And this was at like 6:00 at night, and she's like, what? And she was excited about it. She loved the idea, but like, how do you do that? There were a couple places in town where you could go and get married, but it was religiously, I have a problem with women marrying couples. I prefer it to be a pastor performing the ceremony for religious reasons. And there's a lot of other things that were big roadblocks, but we decided, hey, let's shoot for the end of the week. Let's shoot for, I believe it was Saturday. And Saturday. And that Saturday in January, I believe it was the 21st of January, and we met up. I was working during the day, during the daytime, but I had a little bit of time, either the day before or like in the morning of that day. And we went and picked out Casey actually got a dress from a local person. It wasn't a full wedding dress, but it was a white dress. And I got a shirt because I didn't have any button ups at the time at the local Goodwill like the day before. And basically, we got my pastor to agree to come and marry us at the church. And we invited my family. Only my mom and dad were able to come, and all of Casey's immediate family. So it wasn't really an elopement. It was just a very, fastly thrown together wedding. And a lot of that was because we had been waiting so long to get married. And I think that that's something that in our modern day and culture, people sit there and plan their big fairy tale wedding. And, I don't see the point because your whole life is the fairy tale, if you have some big blowout at the beginning and then suddenly get thrust into the actual real world, I don't think that's a really good foundation personally. It was a really weird time for us, but it was exciting and fun and truly adventurous in a way that I've never felt from a big, crazy bash of a wedding. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't have a big party. I'm saying don't take forever to plan it. Because the whole point of getting married, is to be married, right? And when I'm saying that, I'm meaning everything. Yes, wink, everything. And if you're really actually being celibate and holding back, you want to get there, right? And I think that that's something people discount. That is the joy and the culmination. That's the big, celebratory thing that everyone really actually should want out of their wedding, and moving forward into a working relationship to build a family economy. So we were very much into that mindset, and we got married, and it was really nice. I actually didn't know how to turn the lights on at the church, and neither did the pastor. So we did it at 5 or 6 o'clock. Probably 5 because sun goes down fairly early. But we didn't have the lights on. We had to get it done before the sun went down. And it was just this really interesting situation. I didn't know how to work the sound system at the time. So we had no music outside of a cappella singing. And our wedding hymn, selected by Casey and I, was "Though Troubles Assail Us" by John Newton. I'm actually going to pull that up and go through it just a little bit. And some people know it as "The Lord Will Provide." I'm going to find the Hymn Time version because that has the most verses that I know of. Hymn Time, by the way, for those of you who are big into hymns, hymntime.com is a wonderful, wonderful old school HTML coded page reference for hymns and MIDI files, and it is a wonderful, wonderful resource. I'm going to read some of these and maybe possibly get a little preachy between them, but I'm going to try to mostly just read this through so you guys know what our hymn was, especially considering all the context I just gave you. Though troubles assail us and dangers affright, though friends should all fail us and foes all unite, yet one thing secures us, whatever betide, the promise assures us, the Lord will provide. The birds without garner or storehouse are fed, from them let us learn to trust God for our bread. His saints what is fitting shall ne'er be denied, so long as 'tis written, the Lord will provide. We all may like ships by the tempest be tossed on perilous deeps, but we cannot be lost. Though Satan enrages the wind and the tide, yet Scripture engages, the Lord will provide. His call we obey like Abram of old. We know not the way, but our faith makes us bold. For though we are strangers, we have a sure guide, and trust in all dangers, the Lord will provide. When Satan assails us to stop up our path, and pale courage fails us, we triumph by faith. He cannot take from us, though oft he has tried, this heart-cheering promise, the Lord will provide. He tells us we're weak, and our hope is in vain. The good that we seek we will never obtain. But when such suggestions our graces have tried, this answers all questions, the Lord will provide. No strength of our own, no goodness we claim, yet since we have known of the Saviour's great name, in this our strong tower for safety we hide. The Lord is our power, the Lord will provide. Not all of these verses were in our hymnal when we sang it. This next one was not, and this is the last verse. But this is by far my favorite verse, and I hope that it will be yours too. And I hope you really take these words to heart from John Newton, the man who wrote Amazing Grace. When life sinks apace and our death is in view, the word of his grace shall then comfort us through. Not fearing or doubting, with Christ on our side, we hope to die shouting, the Lord will provide. And that was our hymn, and it was a message, a cheering message to my family and to my wife's family and to us moving forward. We had, after that, gone to a hotel, and because we actually didn't have our apartment yet. And then we went to church the next day. And the crazy thing is, and I've mentioned this before, but I'll just reiterate it slightly and say a few things. One of the ladies at our church actually made us a cake, and we had a semi-impromptu, it was mentioned before the service, wedding reception thrown for us. No cost, no planning on our part. Our church just wanted to celebrate with us because we had such a small wedding. And they were such a huge instrumental part of bringing us together, of housing me, of giving me a place to be, of coming alongside us and cheering us on, of giving us all the courage and the insight that we needed through counseling. It was truly a wonderful celebratory occasion for everyone after the service, and I was so pleased by all of it. And then our first dance, I might as well read the lyrics. For those who don't know, I could quote it off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure. But I actually grabbed a Bluetooth speaker from my car and pulled it in, turned it on, and we had our first dance. Because, of course, we dreamt about having a bigger wedding. One moment. Sorry about that break. I guess I'm going to have to edit this slightly. My father-in-law stopped by and gave me The Power of Myth by Joseph Campbell with Bill Moyers. So that's cool. Anyway, where was I? I grabbed a Bluetooth speaker and we turned on our first dance because we had talked about possibly having a first dance at some point. And, you know, when we were planning an actual wedding and whatever else, not that ours wasn't actual, but you know what I mean? And it was, it was a wonderful moment, and everyone really enjoyed us having a little dance, even though there was no further dancing. We had the words from Andrew Peterson from the Wingfeather Saga, one of the most dear books to my heart, book series to my heart. My love has gone across the sea to find a country far and fair. He sailed into the gilded west, and lo, my heart will never rest until my love returns to me, or I set out to find him there. Come home, I sing to thee. My love, come home and rest thy head. I'll watch for you the winter long and sing for you a summer song. And if you can't return to me, then I will sail to you instead. Through towering wave and shriek of gale, I aim my vessel ever west, and steer it by the cords that bound my heart to yours until you're found. And should you find my body pale and wrecked upon the loamy shale, rejoice, my love, and call me blessed. In death, my love, I loved you best. And that was truly a magical moment for us. And then immediately after church, we headed to St. Augustine for a small little getaway. Spent very little money, had a wonderful time. I love St. Augustine's, oldest European settlement in the United States. You should definitely go if you have never gone. It's a wonderful little pirate town. So, with all that being said, that's kind of our story. And I hope that you guys get from it that there is a Lord of the Rings like climb up Mount Mordor to Mount Doom. You know what I mean? to get to where you want to be, to where you want to get married. I had so many failures along the way, so many failures of relationships with other people, of even, taking care of Casey. I talked about some of them on my last episode, and I kept going, and God was with me. And that's truly what I mean to you, dear Christian, dear listener who understands these things. Be your family's bard. Don't give up hope. Read those fairy tale books. Know that it is true. The happy ending in them is true. Right? So lean on the fact that God has worked the happy ending into the very fabric of reality. And there's another mountain to climb afterward. And there's still darkness. But it cannot overcome the light. Thank you all for watching. We'll talk to you next time.